June 6, 1944. 3 p.m. D-Day is 9 hours old. Allied forces hold 5 Normandy beaches. At Wehrmacht headquarters in Paris, senior officers debate whether this is the main invasion or a diversion. Then a Funksprach, coded radio message, arrives from Madrid. Agent Arabel, Germany's most valuable spy in England, confirms what German intelligence suspected: the Normandy landings are a feint. The real invasion, 75 divisions of the 1st U.S. Army Group under General George Patton, will land at Pas-de-Calais within days. This intelligence is so credible that Hitler personally orders the 15th Army to remain at Pas-de-Calais. 2 panzer divisions that could reach Normandy within 18 hours. Stay frozen 200 miles away, guarding against an invasion that will never come. Agent Arabel is the Abwehr's crown jewel, a Spanish businessman who built a network of 27 sub-agents across Britain, providing detailed intelligence on Allied plans, troop movements, and invasion preparations. The Abwehr pays him £20,000 annually, approximately £1 million. In today's money. In 3 years, Arabel sends over 500 radio messages containing 4,000 pages of intelligence reports. Germany trusts him completely. Hitler personally awards him the Iron Cross. But Agent Arabel, real name Juan Pujol García, British codename Garbo, is a double agent working for MI5. Every sub-agent in his network is fictional. Every intelligence report is fabricated. And on D-Day, his greatest deception keeps Germany's strategic reserves away from Normandy for 7 critical weeks, allowing the Allies to build unstoppable momentum. This is the story of the spy who fooled Hitler and won World War II. Juan Pujol García is born in Barcelona in 1912. He serves briefly in the Spanish Civil War, but hates both sides, the fascists and the communists. By 1941, with World War II consuming Europe, Pujol decides he wants to fight against Nazi Germany. He approaches the British Embassy in Madrid in January 1941, offering to spy for Britain. The British reject him. He has no intelligence training, no access to useful information, no apparent value. Undeterred, Pujol makes an audacious decision: he will become a German spy first, then offer himself to the British as a double agent. In January 1941, Pujol approaches the Abwehr in Madrid and offers to spy for Germany. The Germans are more receptive. They train him in secret writing, provide him with a code name, Arabel, and send him to England to establish a spy network. Except Pujol never goes to England. He travels to Lisbon, Portugal instead. From Lisbon, Pujol begins fabricating intelligence reports supposedly from England using guidebooks, magazine articles, railway timetables, and newsreel footage. He invents fictional sub-agents: a Portuguese businessman in London, a Swiss businessman in Bootle, a Venezuelan student in Glasgow. He describes British military preparations, troop movements, and naval activities, all invented from public sources and imagination. His early reports contain comical errors. He describes Glasgow dockers as drunken men who will do anything for a litre of wine, not realizing that Glasgow is in Scotland where whisky is preferred. He reports British troops embarking from Glasgow for an overseas operation, unaware that Glasgow harbour cannot accommodate large troopships. But the Abwehr is desperate for intelligence from Britain. Germany's spy networks in England have been systematically dismantled by MI5. The Abwehr has almost no reliable sources in Britain by 1942. So despite Pujol's errors, the Germans believe his reports because they want to believe them. The Abwehr pays him and demands more intelligence. Pujol, operating from Lisbon with only guidebooks and imagination, continues fabricating reports. In February 1942, British intelligence intercepts Abwehr radio traffic discussing a valuable new agent in England codenamed Arabel. MI5 realizes someone is sending intelligence to Germany from Britain, or claiming to. They investigate and discover Pujol in Lisbon. The British, who rejected him a year earlier, now reconsider. If the Germans trust this man, he could be enormously valuable. In April 1942, MI5 brings Pujol to London. He meets with Thomas Harris, an MI5 officer who becomes his case handler. Harris recognizes Pujol's potential immediately. Here is a man the Germans trust, who has already established credibility, who is willing to work for Britain, and who possesses extraordinary imagination and attention to detail. MI5 gives Pujol the code name Garbo, after Greta Garbo, because he is the greatest actor in the world. Together, Pujol and Harris begin the most successful double-agent operation in history. They transform Pujol's fictional spy network into an elaborate deception system. The imaginary sub-agents become real characters with detailed backstories, motivations, and personalities. Garbo's network expands to 27 fictional sub-agents by 1944. There is Agent 1, the Portuguese businessman in London. Agent 2, a Swiss businessman in Bootle who manages a network of dock workers. Agent 3, a Venezuelan student recruited while studying in Glasgow. Agent 4, a Gibraltarian waiter working in a British military canteen. Agent 5, an American sergeant stationed in London who passes military gossip. Each agent has sub-agents. Agent 2's network includes dock workers, military girlfriends, and commercial travelers. The entire network is fictional. But Garbo and Harris make it completely believable through meticulous detail. Each agent sends reports consistent with their location, profession, and access. A dock worker reports ship movements. A military girlfriend reports unit insignia she sees. Commercial travelers report industrial production. The intelligence Garbo sends to Germany is carefully controlled by MI5 and the 20 Committee, the British double-cross system run by intelligence officer John Masterman. Approximately 95% of Garbo's intelligence is true, verifiable facts the Germans can confirm through other sources. This builds trust. The remaining 5% is strategic deception, false information designed to mislead German planning. For example, Garbo reports accurate details about British factory production, troop training exercises, and naval deployments that the Germans can verify. But he slightly misrepresents the locations of certain units, overstates the size of certain formations, or suggests false operational timelines. The mixture of truth and deception makes the false information believable because it's embedded in verified facts. By 1943, Garbo is Germany's most trusted agent in Britain. The Abwehr considers him more reliable than any other source. The reason is simple: Garbo's intelligence proves accurate repeatedly. When Garbo reports that a British convoy is preparing to sail from Liverpool on a specific date, German reconnaissance confirms ships departing Liverpool on that date. When Garbo reports a military exercise in Scotland involving specific units, German intelligence verifies those units are indeed in Scotland. This consistent accuracy makes the Germans trust everything Garbo reports, including the false information hidden among the truths. The 20 Committee carefully times Garbo's accurate reports to arrive too late for Germany to act, but early enough to verify. This creates the impression that Garbo has excellent sources, but communicates through channels that impose slight delays. Garbo's credibility receives its ultimate test in July 1942. He reports that a major Allied convoy is preparing to sail from England to the Mediterranean. He provides specific details: approximately 35 ships, departure from Scottish ports, destination believed to be Malta or North Africa. German naval intelligence alerts U-boats to intercept. In early August 1942, Operation Pedestal, a major British convoy to relieve Malta, sails with 34 merchant ships and heavy naval escort. The convoy suffers severe losses, but reaches Malta. The Germans recognize that Garbo predicted this operation accurately. What they don't know is that MI5 deliberately allowed this intelligence to reach Germany because the convoy was so heavily defended that German advance warning wouldn't prevent it. The sacrifice of tactical security ensures Garbo's strategic value. Germany now trusts him completely. The Abwehr increases Garbo's funding and demands more intelligence. By 1943, Garbo sends 2 to 3 radio messages per week, each containing multiple intelligence items. His messages grow longer and more detailed, some exceed 2,000 words. The radio transmissions require hours, raising risks of detection. Garbo complains to his German handlers about the danger of lengthy transmissions. The Germans provide him with a second radio operator, theoretically recruited from among his subagents, to handle the transmission load. Of course, this radio operator is also fictional, simply allowing MI5 to justify longer transmissions. The Germans accept this completely. They are so confident in Garbo that they never question his network structure or operations. In November 1943, Allied planning for Operation Overlord, the D-Day invasion, reaches advanced stages. The 20 Committee begins using Garbo for strategic deception as part of Operation Fortitude, the Allied plan to mislead Germany about the invasion's location and timing. The deception has 2 components. Fortitude North suggests a fake invasion of Norway, while Fortitude South suggests the main invasion will target Pas-de-Calais rather than Normandy. Garbo becomes the primary channel for Fortitude South deception. His fictitious network begins reporting massive Allied military buildup in southeastern England, the region closest to Pas-de-Calais. Garbo's fictional agents report seeing new military formations arriving in Kent, Sussex, and East Anglia. Agent 2's network of dock workers reports increased naval activity at Dover and ports facing Pas-de-Calais. Agent 4, the Gibraltarian waiter, reports serving American officers who discuss the first U.S. Army group, FUSAG, a fictional army group supposedly commanded by General George Patton. Agent 5, the American sergeant, provides details about FUSAG units, insignias, and equipment. The intelligence describes an army of 75 divisions preparing for the main invasion at Pas-de-Calais, with Normandy as a secondary or diversionary target. This entire build-up is fictitious, created through fake radio traffic, dummy tanks and aircraft visible to German reconnaissance, and elaborate reports from Garbo's imaginary network. The Germans believe every word. Abwehr intelligence assessments throughout early 1944 consistently place FUSAG in southeastern England preparing for Pas-de-Calais invasion. German military planning allocates major forces to defend Pas-de-Calais. The 15th Army with approximately 15 divisions remains concentrated around Calais throughout spring 1944. Hitler personally reviews Garbo's intelligence and accepts the Pas-de-Calais assessment. This represents perhaps the greatest intelligence failure in German military history, accepting a completely fictional army group as real based on reports from imaginary spies. But Garbo's 3 years of accurate intelligence have built unshakable credibility. The Germans trust him more than their own reconnaissance and analysis. But what makes Garbo's deception even more powerful is the timing of his most critical message. On June 5, 1944, the night before D-Day, Garbo sends an urgent message requesting an emergency meeting with his handlers at 3 a.m. Madrid time. The message arrives at 3 a.m. but no German radio operator is on duty to receive it. This is intentional. MI5 times the message to arrive when German operators are off duty, knowing it will be received too late to affect D-Day. But early enough to demonstrate. Garbo tried to warn Germany. When German operators receive the message at 8 a.m. on June 6, 2 hours after the Normandy landings begin, they decode a warning. Garbo's sources indicate major Allied operation launching imminently against Normandy. The warning is accurate, but late. Germany cannot act on it. But the failed warning enhances Garbo's credibility. He tried to warn Germany, but was let down by inadequate German communications. On June 9, 3 days after D-Day, Garbo sends his masterpiece message. He transmits a detailed report analyzing the Normandy landings based on intelligence from his 27 sub-agents. The message is approximately 2,000 words, requiring over 3 hours to transmit. The report states that Fusag, 75 divisions in southeastern England, remains uncommitted to battle. The Normandy invasion involves primarily forces from 21st Army Group under Montgomery. Fusag under Patton has not moved. Therefore, Garbo argues, the Normandy landings must be a diversionary attack designed to draw German reserves away from Pas-de-Calais, where the real invasion, the Fusag assault, will come within days. This intelligence perfectly matches what German commanders want to believe. Committing reserves to Normandy feels like falling into an Allied trap. Better to keep forces at Pas-de-Calais to counter the expected main invasion. Hitler reads Garbo's June 9 message personally. On June 10, Hitler orders the 15th Army to remain at Pas-de-Calais and reinforces it with additional divisions from Belgium and the Netherlands. 2 panzer divisions that could deploy to Normandy, the 1st SS Panzer Division Leibstandard and the 116th Panzer Division, remain near Calais instead. These divisions could reach Normandy within 18-24 hours. And would arrive with full strength before Allied defenses solidify. But they stay at Calais, waiting for an invasion that will never come. The Abwehr sends a message to Garbo on June 11, your reports are essential to the war effort. The Führer has personally praised your intelligence. Hitler awards Garbo the Iron Cross Second Class in Absentia, one of Germany's highest military honors. Garbo is simultaneously working for Britain and receiving decorations from Germany. Throughout late June and early July 1944, Germany keeps the 15th Army at Pas-de-Calais based on Garbo's intelligence about the imminent Fusag invasion. This represents 15 divisions, approximately 150,000 soldiers, plus 2 panzer divisions with 300 tanks, remaining frozen 200 miles from Normandy while Allied forces expand their beachhead. The strategic impact is catastrophic for Germany. In Normandy, Allied forces struggle through hedgerow country against fierce German resistance. But German defenders lack sufficient armor and infantry reserves to contain the Allied build-up. By June 30, the Allies have 850,000 soldiers ashore in Normandy versus approximately 250,000 German defenders. The numerical imbalance grows daily because Germany cannot commit reserves from the 15th Army without exposing Pas-de-Calais to FUSAG's expected assault. German commanders in Normandy desperately request reinforcements. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, commanding Army Group B defending Normandy, pleads with Hitler to release the 15th Army divisions. Rommel argues that the Normandy battle is decisive. If Germany loses in Normandy, Pas-de-Calais becomes irrelevant because the Allies will simply advance from Normandy. Hitler refuses. The intelligence from Agent Arabel is unequivocal. Fusag remains in southeastern England preparing for the main invasion. German reconnaissance flights, when they can evade Allied air superiority, confirm heavy military activity in Kent and Sussex. What the reconnaissance actually observes are the dummy installations of Operation Fortitude, inflatable tanks, wooden aircraft, fake landing craft. But from 15,000 feet, they appear real. Combined with Garbo's detailed reports, the fake build-up convinces Germany that Fusag is real. The deception holds for 7 weeks after D-Day. Not until late July, when Allied forces break out from Normandy during Operation Cobra, does German intelligence begin questioning the Fusag threat. By then, it's too late. The 15th Army finally receives orders to deploy to Normandy in late July. But moving 15 divisions under Allied air superiority proves nearly impossible. Units travel at night to avoid air attacks. They suffer constant harassment from Allied fighter bombers. The 116th Panzer Division, stationed near Calais, requires 12 days to reach Normandy, a journey that should take 3 days. By the time 15th Army units reach Normandy, Allied forces have broken through German defenses. The front collapses. Paris falls on August 25. The 15th Army divisions that could have defeated the Normandy invasion in June arrive in August as scattered remnants to fight desperate rearguard actions. The casualty figures reveal the deception's strategic cost to Germany. If the 15th Army had deployed to Normandy in mid-June with 2 additional panzer divisions, Germany would have had approximately 400,000 defenders versus 850,000 Allied attackers by June 30, a ratio of roughly 1 to 2. These odds are difficult, but not impossible. The hedgerow terrain of Normandy favors defenders. Additional German armor could have made Allied breakout far more costly. But by keeping those forces at Calais, Germany allows the ratio to grow to 1 to 3 and eventually 1 to 4 by late July. At those odds, German defeat becomes inevitable. Historian Ben McIntyre, in Agent Garbo, calculates that Garbo's deception kept approximately 150,000 German soldiers and 300 tanks out of the Normandy battle during the critical 6 weeks when Germany might have contained or defeated the invasion. The personal cost to German commanders is severe. General Feldmarschall Gerd von Rundstedt, Commander-in-Chief West, is dismissed on July 1 after recommending negotiated peace with the Allies following Normandy. Rommel is severely wounded when Allied aircraft strafe his staff car on July 17. After Hitler learns of Rommel's connection to the July 20 assassination plot, Rommel is forced to commit suicide on October 14. German commanders who questioned the Pas-de-Calais intelligence, who argued that Normandy was the main invasion and that Fusag was a deception, are proven correct, but punished for their prescience. German commanders who accepted Garbo's intelligence, who insisted the main invasion would come at Calais, are proven catastrophically wrong. But deflect blame onto intelligence failures rather than accepting responsibility for strategic blindness. But the ultimate irony is that Germany never discovers Garbo is a double agent. Even after the war, many German intelligence officers believe Agent Arabel was a real spy who provided genuine intelligence, but was occasionally deceived by Allied deception operations. The Germans cannot accept that their most trusted source was controlled by the enemy from the beginning. In 1945, when Allied intelligence officers interrogate captured Abwehr personnel, the Germans express confusion about what happened to their valuable Agent Arabel. They assume he was captured or killed. The truth, that Arabel never existed, that the entire network was fictional, that every message was carefully crafted deception, seems impossible. How could they have been fooled so completely? The answer lies in confirmation bias and institutional desperation. The Abwehr wanted to believe in Arabel because Germany desperately needed intelligence from Britain. Garbo's early accurate reports convinced them he was genuine. Once convinced, they interpreted all subsequent information through that lens. When Garbo's intelligence about Fusag matched German assumptions about Allied strategy, that the main invasion would come at the shortest channel crossing, it confirmed their existing beliefs. The Germans accepted Garbo's intelligence not because it was verifiable, but because it told them what they wanted to hear. This represents perhaps the most fundamental failure of intelligence analysis, accepting information that confirms biases while dismissing evidence that contradicts assumptions. The strategic consequences of Garbo's deception extend far beyond Normandy. By keeping the German 15th Army frozen at Pas-de-Calais for 7 weeks after D-Day, Garbo enables the Allies to establish an unshakable lodgment in France. By the time Germany realizes Fusag is fictional and redeploys forces to Normandy, Allied strength has become overwhelming. The Normandy breakout in late July shatters German defenses. Allied armies race across France, liberating Paris on August 25 and reaching Germany's western border by September. The war that might have continued through 1945 and beyond if Germany had contained the Normandy invasion instead ends in May 1945. Military historian Michael Howard estimates that Garbo's deception shortened the European war by 6 months to a year, saving tens of thousands of Allied lives and preventing millions of additional civilian casualties. Operation Fortitude, the strategic deception of which Garbo was the centerpiece, is recognized as the most successful deception operation in military history. The operation cost virtually nothing: radio transmissions, dummy equipment, Garbo's salary, but tied down 15 German divisions at a critical moment. Ben McIntyre argues, Garbo did not win the war single-handedly, but he prevented Germany from losing it slowly. Without the Fortitude deception, Germany could have made Normandy far more costly and prolonged the war significantly. Garbo's contribution to Allied victory is comparable to entire armies in terms of strategic impact. The British government agrees. In 1944, Garbo receives the Member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, for his services. He is one of the few people ever to receive military honors from both sides in a war. The intelligence lessons from Garbo's operation influence modern espionage doctrine. Intelligence agencies worldwide study the 20 Committee's methods as the gold standard for double-agent operations. The principles remain relevant: build credibility through accurate information, embed deception in truth, understand what the enemy wants to believe, and confirm their biases. Modern counterintelligence operations against hostile intelligence services follow the Garbo model: turn enemy agents, control their reporting, feed the enemy intelligence that supports your strategic objectives. The CIA, MI6, and other Western intelligence agencies employed similar tactics during the Cold War, though none achieved Garbo's scale of success. The question of whether Germany could have detected Garbo's deception generates extensive analysis. Several German intelligence officers later claimed they suspected Agent Arabel might be compromised, but their suspicions were dismissed by superiors who trusted Arabel's proven record. Some historians argue that competent German counterintelligence should have detected the deception. The fictional network was too large, too perfectly positioned, too consistently accurate to be plausible. Others note that Germany's intelligence services were competing bureaucracies, Abwehr, SD, Gestapo, that jealously guarded their sources. The Abwehr, which controlled Agent Arabel, had institutional incentives to protect its prized asset rather than subject him to skeptical analysis. Captured German intelligence officer Wilhelm Leisner states in 1945. Interrogation: we believed Arabel because we needed to believe someone. Germany had almost no reliable intelligence from Britain after 1942. Arabel was all we had. Questioning him meant admitting we were blind. Post-war revelations about Garbo's identity come slowly. The operation remains classified until 1972. When author John Masterman publishes the double-cross system, revealing the 20 committee's operations. Juan Pujol Garcia's identity as Agent Garbo emerges publicly in 1984. When historian Nigel West tracks him down living quietly in Venezuela. Pujol, who faked his own death in 1949. To escape public attention, confirms his wartime role. He returns to Britain in 1984. To meet Prince Charles and attend commemorations of the Normandy invasion. German veterans who served in the 15th Army at Pas-de-Calais during summer 1944. Learn for the first time that their wait for the Fusag invasion was based on intelligence from a double agent they never knew existed. The ethical dimensions of Garbo's operation receive less attention, but merit consideration. Garbo's deception directly caused German military decisions that resulted in thousands of German casualties, soldiers killed or captured because reinforcements didn't reach Normandy in time. From an Allied perspective, this is strategic success. Enemy casualties contribute to victory. But Garbo himself expresses ambivalence in later interviews. He states, "I never celebrated the deaths I caused. I understood that deception in war means people die who might have lived. But I believed Nazi Germany had to be defeated, and my contribution helped achieve that with fewer Allied casualties. That justified the deception." This moral calculus, causing enemy casualties to prevent friendly casualties, remains central to military deception operations in modern warfare. Remember that Funksprach arriving at Wehrmacht headquarters on June 6, 1944. From Agent Arabel, Germany's most trusted spy in England, confirming that Normandy was a diversion and the real invasion would hit Pas-de-Calais within days. Hitler personally ordered the 15th Army to remain at Calais based on that intelligence. 2 panzer divisions that could have reached Normandy within 18 hours. Stayed 200 miles away, guarding against an invasion that existed only in the imagination of Juan Pujol García and his MI5 handlers. For 7 weeks, 150,000 German soldiers and 300 tanks remained frozen at Pas-de-Calais while the Normandy battle raged. When those forces finally deployed in late July, they arrived as scattered remnants to fight a lost cause. Agent Arabel, codename Garbo, built a fictional network of 27 sub-agents that existed only on paper and in radio transmissions, yet convinced Germany's intelligence services completely. He received the Iron Cross from Hitler while working for Britain. He is the only person ever decorated by both sides in World War II. The numbers tell the story of history's greatest deception. Garbo sent approximately 500 radio messages containing 4,000 pages of intelligence to Germany between 1942 and 1945. Approximately 95% of the information was accurate, building trust through verifiable facts. The remaining 5% was strategic deception that altered German military decisions at critical moments. The June 9, 1944 message about Fusag, 2,000 words of carefully crafted fiction, kept Germany's largest army group out of the decisive battle of the war. Military historians estimate that Garbo's deception shortened the European war by the 6th of December months, preventing hundreds of thousands of casualties. Intelligence analyst John Masterman states, Garbo was the 20 Committee's masterpiece, a double agent so convincing that the enemy never suspected him, so productive that he shaped strategic decisions, so reliable that his word carried more weight than actual reconnaissance. He represents the apex of intelligence deception operations. Today, Juan Pujol García is remembered as one of World War II's most influential, but least known heroes. He died in Caracas, Venezuela in 1988. At age 76, having lived quietly for decades after faking his death in 1949. To escape attention, a memorial plaque at MI5 headquarters in London honors him and the 20 Committee's operations. The plaque states simply, Agent Garbo, Juan Pujol García, whose deception operations helped secure Allied victory in World War II. But this understates his achievement. Garbo did not simply provide intelligence, he constructed an entire fictional reality that Germany accepted as truth. He created imaginary people whom German intelligence officers believed they knew intimately. He invented military formations that Germany planned operations around. He transmitted lies so skillfully embedded in truth that the enemy could not distinguish them. And when Germany lost the war, many German intelligence officers still believed Agent Arabel was real. That represents the ultimate achievement in the espionage craft, deception so complete that even defeat doesn't reveal it. History's wars are won by soldiers, generals, and factories. But World War II was also won by a Spanish chicken farmer with extraordinary imagination who convinced Hitler's Germany to trust him completely while working against them from the beginning.